On this episode of the Carolina Sports Guy, we're going to dive in and preview and make a prediction of Sunday's contest against the Atlanta Falcons, those dreaded Falcons. Before we get into today's edition of this video, make sure you subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Pound that like button, hit that bell notification, be notified of future videos like this on the Carolina Panthers. And by all means, folks, leave me some comments. I love the dialogue. Okay, folks, if anybody's been following my channel, you might have realized that, wow, we're getting to the end of the week. And we have no video or any information on the Carolina-Atlanta game. And I'm sure some people felt, man, Panthers on a 4-game losing streak. This guy's not into it. And my balloon's been a little deflated. But in case you can't tell by my voice, the beginning of the week, when it was time for me to record, I'd say about Monday night, I came down with a cold. And the congestion was so bad in my throat that by Monday night, early Tuesday, I had lost my voice. And for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, even Friday, yesterday, I did not have my voice. So I really am scrambling because I hated not doing the video, especially against the dreaded Falcons. So I've kind of cut the video shorter, and I kind of thought, well, I'm going to give it all I got. Instead of doing the 3 stars, the 3 heroes and 3 zeros, I'll kind of put that in, try to find a hero in the game and a 0 in the game. What to look for on offense, what to look for on defense. I'm just going to kind of go through a preview here. Now, Atlanta's 3-3. They've had a bye. The first 2 weeks, they looked like crap. They got blown out by Philly. They got beat pretty soundly by Tampa. Last week, they pulled a game out at the end against Miami by a couple points. And that's the kind of game that we like to see the Panthers do against Minnesota. Or, they haven't really, I guess the beginning of the year, they lost the first 2 games. It was kind of like the way we lost to the Giants. And, they beat the Giants, I believe, but only won by 3. But we got killed. And that Giant game, it can't get much worse, can it, folks? You start, just look around the locker room. This is either going to, we're going to come out of this stronger, take that kind of loss. Hey, I remember New England, or I should say Arizona, getting blown out by New England one year at the end of the season in the snow in New England, and Arizona got thrashed. And they came out of that game and made the playoffs because they won the following week and made it all the way to the Super Bowl. That's the Jake Delhomme game on his birthday, and Arizona went on to beat Philly. And then they ended up losing to Pittsburgh in a very close Super Bowl. So you can get a game and get blown out, and it doesn't have to end your season. You can learn something from it. The Eagle game, I think, is a game we gave away. And the Minnesota game is a game that we did not play well, and still at the end of the day, if we could have won the coin toss or come up with a stop, our defense wasn't tired, maybe we could have mustered a win. But the Giant game, there was no enthusiasm. There was no offense. There was nothing good to bring. The defense was spent, tired at the end of the game, giving up points because they had been on the field all game long. And the offense couldn't muster. What did they get, like 2 first downs the entire second half? We missed McCaffrey, but we got a terrible line, folks. Darnold's struggling. The receivers are struggling. Tight end play's not good. And it looks like our coaches are starting to let us down. So, it's easy to look at Atlanta. The history of Atlanta in Atlanta is we played them 26 years now. This is year 27. And in the previous 26 years in Atlanta, they hold a 19-7 edge. We have lost more games in Atlanta than any other stadium, except for our own, because we play everybody half our games there. But Atlanta's beaten us more than anybody else has. They've had our number. Now, when Atlanta goes to Charlotte, it's pretty much Atlanta is dominated. Not dominated, but they've got a 14-12 advantage. It's pretty much 50-50. But, man, it's like 3 out of every 4 times Carolina goes to Atlanta, Atlanta wins. And every year we do this thing where Atlanta starts slow and weak. excuse me, every year we start slow and weak. Atlanta does. And we go out and are ahead of them, and it looks like we're going to pull away. And before you can blink an eye and get to the end of the season, Atlanta's past us. We're sitting at the bottom of the division right now. And we are better than what our record says. Now, are we as good as a 3-0 start? Maybe not. Maybe it's who we played. I don't want to hear about the New Orleans game, being the head coaches out and players out, because New Orleans won against Denver and they took the win. We played them and we won. We really annihilated them. I thought the Houston game, losing McCaffrey, was tough, but we ended up holding on and winning. We beat the Jets. The Dallas game was a good game. The refs kind of blew it in the first half. I thought we played well in it, and Dallas has got a good team. The Eagle game was a game that we had no business losing. And like I said, with Minnesota, we started playing like crap. They took advantage of it. We came back and made an effort, but we didn't deserve to win it, but we were there. The Giant game was what took the air out of sails, and this is what I'm really going to be interested in seeing. What kind of energy, first and foremost, what kind of energy are the Panthers going to have against Atlanta? This is a rivalry, folks. And I say a rivalry, not like it's close, but it's a division game, and you play them twice a year. There's got to be some bad blood. And I don't know if we have the players and the youth there who hate Atlanta. We had Cam here. Cam was from Atlanta, so he had no problem getting up for Atlanta. And in the 3 shutout losses in our 27-year history, 2 of them have been by Atlanta in the same year. John Fox's first year, Atlanta shut us out twice. The only other shutout we've been beat by was Denver, I think in our 3rd year with Don Capers. But we've got to play better offensively. Now, hey, Atlanta's secondary struggles. We could take advantage. But it seems like every time we play a quarterback who has never beaten anybody, they come out as world beaters against us. Or every time we play a defense that's struggling, they end up coming out well. I think Atlanta's defense will get a couple of sacks. I made a prediction last week, Sam Darnold will throw an interception, and he did. A costly one, right before half. And didn't have one at the end of the game because he's trying to bring us back. But, folks, I just don't see Atlanta's secondary holding up. Now, the problem is Matt Ryan has always had our number. And as good as the Panthers' defense can be, without that constant pressure, he's got enough weapons to hurt us. So, what am I saying? I hate picking against Carolina, and I normally don't. When I did my predictions, and you can go back and look at the second quarter, I said we were going to beat Philly, and we didn't. I said we were going to beat Minnesota, and we didn't. And I said we were going to beat the Giants, and we didn't. But I said we get to Atlanta, we would lose that game. And I would love to tell you that we're going to win that game. Because 4-4, it's not great. But if we can turn something around, we only won 5 last year. I would like to see us, 4-4 with 9 games to go. Maybe we could turn around, even though we got a daunting schedule. Buffalo and Tampa Bay twice and New Orleans again. In Arizona coming up in a couple of weeks. I just don't think we're as bad as our record. But we've got an offensive line problem. And I'm starting to see a coaching problem. And our quarterback, we didn't do him any favors not having a good line. And our receivers look lethargic. And our defense, as strong as it looks, is starting to look like it's got some holes. And maybe we need to put Jeremy Chin back at linebacker. Or we got a strong enough secondary. I'd like to see Stephon Gilmore play. Maybe that'll happen. But until we get CMC back, our offense is going to struggle. So, prediction I'm going to make, I'm going to say Atlanta is going to win this game. As much as I'm rooting for Carolina, and I want to be wrong, I couldn't name the last time Carolina swept Atlanta. It's been, I think, maybe one of Ron Rivera's years, and it wasn't the first year. I think it was the year that we lost to San Francisco. The first time Ron was named Coach of the Year, started 1-3, and I think that he ended up sweeping Atlanta that year. Could be wrong, but it's been a long time since we swept Atlanta, and I just don't see us winning in Atlanta, and I'd love to. But I see a 27-24 Atlanta win, and we got to find a way. We've got to get back to Panther football, because 3-5 is going to really put us at the bottom of the basement, and it's not going to look good. Tepper's patience is running thin. And folks, as far as picking a loser for the game, I'm going to go right ahead and say it's freaking Matt Paradis again. I'm over that guy. And as far as picking a player who I think is going to shine in this game, I'm going to stick with the obvious and say it's going to be Hassan Reddick. He's looked good, other than maybe the Dallas game where he didn't get a sack. I'm going to put Reddick as getting multiple sacks again in this game. God knows I'd sure love to get to Matt Ryan and knock his head off. Get the F off our field, Matt Ryan. Shit-stained pants. Anyway, folks, what do you think of today's video? Do you think the Panthers can beat Atlanta in Atlanta? I'm holding out hope. Leave me some comments. Pound that like button. Hit that bell notification. Be notified of future videos like this. And by all means, folks, subscribe. It's free. And we'll see you next time on another edition of Carolina Sports Guy.